The year's 1999. Volcanoes were just erupting, sticky bricks were foundation for houses, and people were sure as hell not dressing anything like I am right now. They dressed worse. Nonetheless, we're gonna go a little bit back in time and we're gonna see the history of vaporizers and where we came from. From the good old unknown and pretty terrible Flamez vaporizer and VaporStar all the way to the new modern era. Some of you guys have been around for a lot longer than I have, using hot knives to take hashish and using a heat gun to attach to a bong in some really makeshift janky way. Let's check out these relics of time and see how far we've come. So right here is the Flamez vaporizer, and this funky little device actually has a mason jar as the top piece, and it has this, what I think to be a brass heating element, which just conductively gives your herb some heat. It's pretty terrible, and we'll see why. Also, we have the VaporStar, and this thing was a very small production and limited run, and it's actually surprisingly good. I really love this thing, and I actually use it from time to time. And we threw in a Vapo-Cane, or what was once a Vapo-Cane before I accidentally kind of destroyed it. We're just gonna see how they all go. So we have a lighter, a butane, and a hemp wick heat source, as well as electric. So we're actually gonna start off here with the VaporStar. And this little thing is really interesting because the magic is all actually in this kind of cap thing. It's acts as a big heat sink and diffuser, and you can use practically any bowl there. I have a wooden one, I have a glass one. I'll just put the cap on like this. And this thing is actually really fascinating. So we're gonna give it a first run with the indestructible wooden bowl, and we're gonna use a lighter. And then next time we're gonna try the torch lighter and a hemp wick. While we load that up, we're gonna let this thing here, the Flamez, heat up. So I'm gonna turn it on, and I don't know if you can see under this lighting, but when it's dark, this thing has some LEDs inside, you know, for that RGB 1990 lit experience. So we're just gonna heat up that plate while we do all this, because it's a conduction device. So let it heat sink, give it a fair chance. So the bowl on this thing is actually very sticky brick sized, sticky brick like. This thing is like the sticky brick, but predates it by a good couple decades. I actually couldn't find much about when this thing was originally created, but it seems like around the early 2000s, and it's a small British company, and they went out of business because, well, nobody bought these. Vaporizers were still hardly a thing, and I wish these made a return. I've seen the Vapo Bowl, which apparently is similar, but I've never tried it, so I can't comment. But regardless, let's give this guy a try, and what's really funky is, like the Vapor Genie, is you can use a regular old lighter. For those people fond of the OG lighter experience, maybe this thing would have been for you. Ooh. Honestly, this thing is surprisingly pleasant. Man, honestly, this thing is really surprisingly good. Like, we talk about indestructible, but the Dynavap and Sticky Brick, this is so simple, and a wooden bowl, you know, you could put this on any type of pipe, bong, a 14mm, works just fine. So, but let's try this out with a torch lighter and the hemp wick, which is my favorite vibey way to use this little thing. But first, let's give the Flamez a good old shot, because this thing is really funky. This is one of the most primitive designs out there, and I actually really admire the universal mason jar attachment, because it makes cleaning really easy. But this plate essentially just warms up and, you know, conducts heat to your herb like that. So there's also not very much information out there on the world. It seems like this thing was also in the early 2000s, and these are found a lot in the Netherlands. A friend gave this to me from someone else who gave it to him for free, which was just sitting in his closet for over a decade. So yeah, and also the fact that it uses what seems like brass as the heating element doesn't really make me so confident, because a lot of brass is tainted with lead, and yeah. Now what's really cool though is that once the cannabinoids and terpenes are getting boiled off, it'll slowly fill this entire jar with vapor, which is pretty cool. So we'll just let that happen slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, we can see this jar getting filled up with our vapor. And so the draw method is by way of whip, and it kind of works, you'll see. You know what, those first hits are not bad at all. You can't really see it so much on your end, but it's really fun to watch the vapor just kind of dance around and... The flavor's not bad. And the only really design problem here right now is you get tons of air with your mixture, because the air comes in through this hole at the bottom and it mixes in with the vapor, so you're not really getting a concentrated hit, and the hits are kind of unsatisfying as a result. Yeah, this thing's actually kind of fun to use. Once, it's really inefficient with your flower, but you can do something like this. Would I ever buy this? For $10, sure. Maybe it's the lead, but I do feel effects. Maybe it was that thing earlier. Yeah, it's really cool being able to watch the vapor though swirl and spin around in there though. It's really cool. Maybe if someone designed something with like a quartz heating element, which you could put dabs onto. I need to get me some dabs. Yeah, I tried it with hashish, but it really didn't work out so well. Whew. It's just the taste isn't so good. The vapor's not nice, but the experience is actually pretty pleasant. Before the advent of all these new modern vapes which kick ass, I would be pretty content with this thing, you know. I'm sure you could find out, you grind really fine, apply evenly, find the right temperature, maybe modify the airflow a little bit. So let's give this a try. Ooh. Ooh, pretty mama. Hunka, hunka. I mean, vapor never shows up so good on camera, but that is nice. Wow. Disco ain't dead, baby, and neither is hemp wick. Check this out. Ooh. Oof. Almost combusted with that. Ooh. Honestly, if there's one vape we should revive, it's the VaporStar. The fact you could use a normal lighter or hemp wick, like the Vapor Genie, it's one of the coolest things out there. Haha, how about our Vapo-Cane? Or once was the Vapo-Cane, now it's the Vapo-Nub or something. This was designed for use on a pipe or a water bubbler with a flame torch, so let's give that a try. Ooh. Now, it works better with this modification, but this is the most simple of simple vapes. It's literally just your flower, a screen, and just a little extension. And you know what? You can make something like this DIY out of airizer, Extreme Q elbow adapter, and so forth. You really don't need much. Spend $300 or spend $20, you're still able to get something to work. It's just, you know, totally different experience, and this definitely has a learning curve. Very easy to combust like this. So what's actually really fascinating to me is that after a few decades of evolution of dryer vaporizers, we're seeing the same consistent thing. Just like the Vape Bong, which uses a pure ceramic Kanthal simple system, seemingly old school, it's one of the best performing out there. Likewise with this and other seemingly simple vaporizers, sometimes less is more. So just like how this died a very quick and painless death, and this was discontinued forever as well, other great vaporizers like the Lotus Vaporizer are going out of business because, well, it just isn't worth the time, energy, money, or even losing money. So ensure you support the manufacturers that you really enjoy, those like Lotus, Dynavap, Sticky Brick Labs, Stores and Bickle, or whoever it is. If you like a company, if you like what they stand for, or the people who make the stuff, give them a little love. Honka honka. By the way, if you like these videos, please actually subscribe to our channel, because we're trying to put out genuinely good content for the cannabis community. And in light of all these YouTube vape bans, we really want to try and give the real accurate picture and presentation of what cannabis is actually like. This, having fun, being cool, being healthy, being smart. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching our Retro Vape Day video. I hope this gave you a little bit of perspective on the evolution and history of vaporizers and how we've come so far, but still, simplicity sometimes matters most. Well, that's all folks. If you like the video, check the comment and subscribe.